So another video here on short-term and mid-term rentals. We are going to do just kind of a quick walkthrough. This is actually an open house, so there's going to be other people in there. And for the sake of not talking negative about a potential property when there's other people viewing it, we'll maybe leave our comments till the end, or I'll just do a voiceover later. But basically just, pretty simple video, property evaluation of, is this property good for short-term or mid-term rental? Let's go take a look. Okay, so starting off, when you're evaluating any kind of short-term or mid-term rental, the first thing that you should be looking at is the neighborhood. And the reason why you want to be looking at the neighborhood is because while your property, which is going to be this property here, could be really nice, and you could make it really modern inside and unique and all of that, and it can attract a lot of the short-term, mid-term renters, you don't ever want to have a review that says, great property, it's modern, it's unique, it's cute, perfect for my family, but the neighbors next door, our houses are run down, looks unsafe neighborhood, so forth. To be honest with you, that feeling is going to heavily depend on the price point of the property. Meaning, if the house next door is a little bit, kind of run down, and you're renting your property out for 100, 150, the person that rents a property for 100, 150 is going to expect things differently than a person that's renting a property for $300, $400 a night. If I'm renting something for $300 to $400 a night, basically how much it's going to cost for a hotel, I expect the neighborhood that I'm in to be pretty upkept and pretty nice. If I'm just renting something that's a little lower end, then I'm okay maybe with the property next to it not being so great, because I realize I'm sort of budgeting or renting a budget spot. So even regardless, if it's a rental and it's a budget spot, you still need to have the interior of your property look like a $400 a night, even though you're renting it for $130. So we'll go inside, we'll see if we can do that. But again, always you start with the neighborhood. Do the houses next door to the left and right? Are they close? Are they messy? Do they look safe? If your renter's here, you pulled up, would you be okay renting here with the neighbors that are to the left and the right of the property? In this case, I think we're okay.
They're moving to Arkansas.
So you want me to walk you through and just kind of talk about things? So,
What do you think, Elliot? Because I've heard such great things
Yeah.
about Lovely, and she's like, just talk to Elliot.
well, here's the thing is, when you're doing real estate, and when you're doing short-term rentals, you always have to understand or think about, what if it doesn't rent, right? That's regardless if you're doing a mid-term rental or a long-term rental. You always have to say,
Right. What
if I had to liquidate this property or something happened, right?
Right.
You're both doctors, like whatever. But let's just say it did, right?
Right.
You always come in with that idea because like, I'm gonna have to cover this mortgage and it's never gonna make any money, right? So
exactly.
think about that.
Yes.
So in this case, something at a lower price point is more attractive.
Right.
It's also more attractive, and the reason why is because you can liquidate a property
Right.
at $350,000 in Alpharetta, like all the people that are here, versus if there was a $700,000
Right.
property you put on the market.
Right.
So you wouldn't want to jump into an Airbnb or short-term rental on $1 million lake
No,
property
I can't.
right off the bat, because you'd be like,
No, that was my
what's the
budget,
mortgage?
like 400 was my budget.
Understand. So in that range is a really good starting point. It runs the exact same way for short-term rentals, in that you don't want to be the expensive person in renting. So if I open up Airbnb and I put Alpharetta, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, because I got 2 kids that are coming, I don't want to be the person that's $700 a night. You want to be the $100 a night, because everyone can afford that, right?
Yeah.
So initially when I was looking here with Airbnb, what you're looking for, and it's really hard for people sometimes to do the investing in the initial part of it, because if you were doing a restaurant, you go into a restaurant, the food's good, but the ambiance is just as important.
Right, exactly.
And you can have a really beautiful restaurant and mediocre food, and you'll still go there, right? So the same thing, like I can come in here and go, the kitchen's layout's not great. This section right here is weird, but you can make it modern and inside and have decent furniture inside. Not expensive, but just
decent,
a look. Furniture.
Right.
We buy all our stuff from like a discount place.
Right.
That someone will come in and be like, wow, this is really pretty. This is better than I would stay at home, right? So you have to kind of think about that. When people are doing a short-term rental, the reason why you would do that is you have pets. So I'm looking at the backyard, and is it fenced?
Okay.
Right? If you don't accept pets, right, then there's no reason to do this with a big yard.
Okay.
What I like about this is there is no yard. For upkeep, it's lower cost for you. There's a little bit of mowing here, but anybody could do that, right? Any property manager will just do that little part, right?
Okay.
But in the back, I go, could this hold a pet? And in this case, it's all fenced in, so that's great. That's a $5,000 expense. You don't have to put a fence in, right? So that's pretty nice. And then you go families. Families are the other people. Like people go like, hey, I'm going to go to Atlanta. I got to be there for a week.
Right.
I want to bring my own family.
Right.
I don't want to get 2 hotel rooms, right? So in this case, how many bedrooms and bathrooms? And does it make sense? Can my kids go comfortably fit in the room with the bathroom? And can they? So that's kind of what you're looking for, right? And then if you know one of the people leaves to go work and the kids are at home, is the neighborhood safe? Does it feel like is it okay? So. And then other people will go in short-term rentals because it's just cheaper than a hotel. So one of the things she said to me, she's like, oh, I found a good property. And I said, okay, great. What's the hotels around it? How much are they? Right? And she's like, oh, it's in Johns Creek. I'm like, okay, well, I know they're $300 a night then. Unless you're staying at some of you want to stay at. Right, okay.
Holiday Inn or like those kinds
Correct.
are like, one.
That's what I'm saying. So like if you're, so in this case, so then you just got to run the math, right? So you figure an occupancy. I always say, figure like a 60% occupancy. We have a property in Sugar Hill. It's literally back to back to back. I'll open up my calendar. I'll show you. It's back to back to back.
So where in Sugar Hill do you have it? Is it near
It's right next to where they're building out that spot. What makes it back to back is I go larger on the rent for longer out, and then as it gets closer, I just drop down the rent. But that's a very manual process that if you're a property manager, it's not hard, but just every week you're consciously looking and going, hey, what's going on next month? And like I'll look at it and go, hey, this isn't good. Let me drop it down $100. And so if you're looking anywhere in the area, I just booked someone, made $500. I wouldn't have if I would have kept the same rental rate of say $175, right? But with Airbnb or with anything, it's not about the rental rate. It's about the vacancy, right? Which if you listen to any podcast, it's about the vacancy is the problem. So if I can get my current rate at 60%, and then the other, 35% at the lower rate, and then you have a couple of days here and there because you're turning it over, then that works. So just kind of be very conscious of that. So when I walk in here, you still want to be curb appeal. You still want to look attractive. So what I would say to you is, I'll make recommendations. What I would do here. Claire doesn't even pay attention to the expenses that I put into properties because it would drive her crazy. Because inherent in her culture, she would walk in and be like, "It's perfectly fine," and I'm like, "It is perfectly fine. If you wanted to rent this house out in a long term, you could do it.
Right.
However, when you go on Airbnb in a short-term rental, you're competing against me,
Right.
and I'm going to go and spend an extra $10,000 maybe, because if I can get an extra $50 a month or fix it a night times 365 or my vacancy, then you'll get it back. And then when we invest, we always invest with the idea that if I put 10 grand in, I'm really only putting in that minus my taxes, right? So that goes into the depreciation part. But if you put money into here, that's directly writes off your income. So it's like, I put 10 grand in, but I'm gonna get 30% taxes anyway. So maybe it's only like putting 7 in because I would have been lost that money anyway, right? But then I'm gonna gain it back in a return on investment. And then helping it and making it nice is also a help if you ever did have to resell it or something like that, down the
So
road.
I like your point, Elliot, that what if I'm not able to rent it at all, right? Like if I don't have time or to be that active
Yes.
on the property. So what if we think like there was 0% occupancy and we had to liquidate? How much are we going to lose?
6%.
6% off.
What you buy it for, you're going to list it and figure you're going to sell it for exactly what you bought it for.
The fees of
The
the
fees.
fees, yeah.
The fees.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But the property appreciates.
But it's not going to not rent.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
gonna rent some though, right?
Like people are like, oh, my house didn't sell. Well, it's not that the market's soft. You didn't sell for the right price.
Right.
So if I listed this property for $1 million, it's never going to sell.
Right.
If I list it for 100, it's going to sell.
Right.
It's the same thing with renting.
Right.
So when I start off on my Airbnbs, I actually rent really low.
No, yeah, because that's what.
And I max it out. And then people go in, they're like, this is a beautiful property for $100.
Yeah, so they just like you get the
And I'm superhost status.
Right.
Every review I've ever received is a 5-star because I intentionally go a little under to wow people. Under promise, over deliver. Make sense? Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so you would never have to worry about it.
Would you, like, if you had to invest the money in this property, would you invest it? If it
I
were a
would
property.
still. There's another layer that I would do beyond this, which I'll still do. We can still do for you,
What is it?
which is opening up the Airbnb, and I want to see what everyone else is what's around here or what they're charging, because that's the number, right?
Yeah, it's the
So
number.
let's say this is 400. So let's say the mortgage is going to be then 2,200, depending on whatever your terms are. Then I'd go, okay, so then to get my 2,200 back plus plus electricity and rent and all. We're still walking through plus electricity and rent and all that kind of stuff, like. You got to make sure it's profitable, and that's what I want to see. Like with the 60% occupancy, with the things I need to do, will I make money? Because even if it's just for taxes, so. This would have to go, right? The cabinets you could actually refinish and paint. You'd have to do granite here. You can actually even keep that faucet. This is cheap to replace. Believe it or not, this tile is looks outdated, but it actually can be modern looking if you cleaned it up and these walls are painted. These walls are painted in white and then granite. You'd be like, there's really nice houses that put these floors in. So it actually works.
Paint that tile. You can
Even
paint
this would change. Wouldn't leave it. But I would, some of this stuff that's older, it needs to be cleaned up here. But for the most part, I'm like, you paint this way, the
Yeah, you
granite
pay
top,
attention
and
to
have
it.
Steve come in and
This would
reclean,
come off.
reclean all of this. Take all this paper off. You're at the drywall or something, because when you pull paper off, it messes everything up. Perfectly fine. You're gonna do stuff here, like you're gonna paint these. This fixture is outdated. You're gonna take this off, that outlet. So you'll take this off. Like when you put in a nice outlet cover for $6, and $6 here. I mean, whatever. Like it actually really updates stuff. These doors are pretty old school. You could update these for a door that's $87 or something at Home Depot, just a flat white door with a design on the inside. It makes it. I'll be honest with you, I hate the carpet. Okay, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it because it's here, because it's in good condition. I smell smoke, so that has to be. It's probably in the carpet, so deep cleaned here.
Will that take away the smoke?
But you wouldn't necessarily want. It could, yeah. But you wouldn't necessarily want to do carpet because it'll get tore up, especially for animals and stuff. So when you go into a room, the only thing you're looking at is, can I put a bed in here? All right, so that's a queen bed, maybe. All right.
We can
Probably.
This is like a full bed, which we can replace with a queen bed.
So when you're in an Airbnb, you don't need that dresser.
Yeah.
You have a closet, right?
Right.
So our Airbnbs are headboard,
Okay.
a mattress, which is we get all from discount places. We literally go in and go, what's like 80% off, and I can give you the place that I go to and coming. They deliver it, they set it all up, they do all that for you. And then 2 end tables and a nice lamp. That's it. And then I do really modern pictures. This coloring is cream. I would change it all. I would paint the whole house to like that gray, type of stuff. I would clean stuff up like this. Yeah, it needs to be painted just because it's torn up. So figure, 5,000 or something, 6,000 to kind of paint it.
How much is the bathroom?
But same thing. Bedroom, boom here.
This
I mean, you don't necessarily have to do the closets. Like that would be the very last thing,
But we can get it painted,
But a nice fresh coat of paint on this would go a long way. Same thing. Bathroom's very logical. You got a window, one bed, 2 end tables.
Could be here, though,
Yeah.
because it's one.
Just in real estate in general, like feng shui, like you never put a bed in a corner. Like it just looks,
Right.
it actually works for a kid's room because you want room to play, but it's center, it's left. Like people just need to come in, sit, and go. So, but 2 bedrooms here that are feeding into the best bathroom for kids. Perfectly
There's a
acceptable.
closet, like
Perfectly
women's
acceptable.
closet.
Yep. I don't like this up and down.
Yeah, the up and down. You actually can take it off. We had one house.
Yeah,
saw
I
one
would
house
look
take it
into just whatever this is, just not doing.
So you think, how much is it to replace a carpet?
I don't know. We just get a quote for people,
But
but
if the property appreciates, like I've seen, like if you spend like 30K or 10K, the value from the value appreciates to like, you know, 80K of the property in total? No, it
That sounds like a lot of YouTube videos. People, no, it is possible. Like if you have an outdated kitchen and you like people blow out a wall and they build all new kitchens, in, yeah, you're gonna get your value back.
Okay,
but you're not
I
thinking
do-
that.
Okay.
What you're thinking of,
Just
can I
getting-
maximize occupancy
Oh, right.
to get the cash flow,
Yeah.
8 to 10% cash flow, probably a lot more than that, but
Probably.
worst case 8 to 10% cash flow, right?
Yeah.
And then you're talking depreciation and an appreciation,
That's
right?
amazing
This-
if I can get 80%.
This right here, this is not logical to me at all.
Yeah.
However, in Airbnbs, people always want an office space. So I would actually take all of this out. I would actually put a wall right here,
Oh, okay.
you know, or I would put a wall here.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I'd put a wall here. I'd take this out, mind you, and I would make this into a desk.
Okay.
Desk area.
Yeah, that makes more
Because then somebody can come in here and
Come and
sit
sit.
with a little computer and sit
But
and,
if this is a
and all of
living
that.
space, would that be
You
like
just put a barn door.
disturbance?
It's okay because like if someone's gonna come in like you're doing the best you can. Obviously, this is much better down the hall in the corner.
Right.
You're not your option.
Right.
This serves
No.
no purpose unless you're in the 90s whenever this house was built. You know, whatever. Like this is really cool. Like so if you did gray here, you know, this being painted like black or something is like, you know, all the new modern looks. You
Right.
probably know, right?
Yeah.
All the new modern stuff. And then this is very logical. Like it's a large gathering area. The seating matters. And then the kitchen is small in that nook. But for like a short-term rental, nobody cares because nobody cooks. They
Yeah.
all just do delivery.
Yeah.
So they need something to put cereal in, some cereal boxes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But nothing too crazy. So that's all logical. And of course, out to the patio, little seating area. I wouldn't change any of those.
This, just use
I would put this in your budget
Yeah.
that this is gonna break,
Yeah, this is
but I would just run it without problem. I would probably invest in taking that microwave and putting it up here.
okay.
This looks like it's vented out
Yeah.
to try to do something there because that's a little awkward, right? You could do granite here, and you'd want to paint the
How much
cabinets.
would that?
$1,000, $1,500. It's not too much. But like so, when you're looking at just small little touches, like this is a double basin sink, like a big, nice, beautiful basin sink. Nice, I would actually keep this because it's fine. But like, if you did granite here, and your granite all back here, or like a reflective, shiny. I'll send you some pictures, some stuff. And this is all white, you know what I mean? And then you could actually do stone, this like tile, but take it all the way up over here, and then a nice fixture that comes down. It'll look very attractive. You know.
And you can help me with all that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we do that. Like
This is the person, this is the material.
outdated curtains and stuff like that. But like this little wood bar looks good. It's very yellow, but if you paint gray, it would look a lot better. I don't like that. I have this in our lake house, and I always wonder because I've had people like, "Oh, I tripped, liability."
So you have two Airbnbs.
Yeah. I have one in a lake property. That's 900,000 or something. Like I just told you, but it works because we rent out for very high because it's on the lake and there's a different, This is fine. This room is good. Closet's fine. I don't love any of this.
Yeah, this is just like,
You know what I mean?
the front of the...
Oddly enough, though, my first house I ever purchased was this exact setup.
Oh, really?
So what I would do is, given that this door is, so you just run barn doors right across here, right? Which closes off this space, but at least gives you somebody like a little bit of privacy. You could, if you wanted to, take this out, do a double sink here because you already have the plumbing here. You could actually take this wall out. This is nothing. It's just not structural, right? So you could take this out, and then you'd have the shower. You'd run tile across
That's
here,
what I was thinking. We can
and
even
then
make
double
like a-
barn doors because this makes it very boxy. And so
we can
you'd kind of be like,
bathroom,
you'd be like, I only have barn doors, like separating the toilet and all that, but you just have to go like more hotel feel. Like if you ever stayed with like your significant other, like a lot of people like don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
There's bathrooms at hotels that they don't even have walls and there's just a tub there and it just goes, whatever. So But if you did a nice, double barn door here that latched, that to give some privacy in case someone was getting ready,
So
it would be
the
fine.
only thing when I was driving, it's like inside. It's not like with Airbnbs, people want like
No.
direct access to the
No, inside in this little cul-de-sac settled away is better. You don't want to be out on the road right next to, again, safe. Kids can go outside and play and all that kind of stuff. But this is, you could do a regular door. You could bring this all the way over here and just do a regular door that opens.
The one Jackson has the
This
barn
way.
door.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling her. I was like, do a barn door.
Yeah, barn door would
So-
look good.
So it's kind of like, how much do you invest? You could
Yeah.
do, so what I would do